Yeah, and Ripper, he himself was actually. I mentioned during the match that we were casting just now
Mm.
that somebody even said that Elfie was the best soldier to have ever taken part in the Legend series. That was actually Ripper himself from ENCE out there, so maybe he's hoping that Beto's gonna lose connection. They can play with the coach again. But yeah, on the other hand, as you said just a while ago, hopefully Vivi's Adventure are gonna give us a little bit closer of a match this time. I think we should word it a little bit differently because I think that it will be very heavily favored in the side, but then there are little doubts after seeing the match against Singularity, so it's kind of tricky to really say how they'll match up against ENCE. I'm not saying that ENCE is a bad team, however,
No,
compared
not at
to
all.
the Singularity or Vivi's Adventure, they're pretty far behind, and they'll have to build up some real good gameplay in order to be able to try and take down Vivi's Adventure. After all, KGSZL, the favorites Kryptonite, as I called them, they were taken down by Singularity without really a big boom or anything like it. On Lijiang Tower, it was a 3-0 pretty convincing from Singularity. Then on the PAL, as I said, I had that feeling that maybe they could have played it out a little bit better, but maybe they wanted to get a closer game for the sake of the show, or maybe just having fun a little bit more.
I mean, we just need to wait and see. But no, ENCE are definitely a very good team as well. I mean, all the teams at this point, these are the winners of the group stages. And all the groups, I think, were fairly strong. So especially, Group C and D, we had some very close matches and exciting matches. So I expect a lot out of ENCE as well. But I just wasn't seeing the aggression that I was accustomed to seeing from Vivi's Adventure. So we'll have to see. That's kind of what we're talking about here. But Singularity seemed to be a cut above the other teams. But after now having seen each of them play against each other, it seems like it's much closer. But whoever loses this is going to be out of the tournament. So they definitely have to bring their A game. And right now we're in the pick and ban phase, so we'll have to see what ends up happening. I don't know. I'm not sure. I think the teams are pretty comfortable on all the maps. We haven't seen, it was only KGSCL that seemed to be weaker on 2 out of 3 of the maps of Lijiang Tower. So I'm not but Lijiang Tower has been removed, so we'll have to see. Group 66 is still there, and so is Nepal. I wouldn't be surprised to see those two make it through. We haven't seen Numbani in a while, actually. In the initial Group A and B, it was really popular, and then since then, it seems to kind of other teams aren't interested in playing it.
Yeah, it's interesting to see early on Kings Road, Dorado, Lijiang Tower eliminated out there with some kind of sketchy maps still left out there, and I'm definitely looking at you, Oasis, and Temple of Anubis, you too. But I'm guessing that these will be the bans now, and will leave us with Numbani, Nepal, Route 66, unless one of the teams has something real surprising prepared out there. Yeah, Route gets banned out.
So, but we've seen a Temple of Anubis, and that was actually really interesting and quite exciting. So I enjoyed it, but now I wonder who's going to get banned out.
Yeah, maybe it's tough to call really. ENCE might be looking for some map to surprise Vivi's Adventure, but then I'm quite sure Vivi's Adventure will want to close it out into O in order to not allow the enemies to play that map, and then I'm not too sure if you can like confidently call out Oasis and play it simply, because now we know that it's not going to be TOA.
Well, Anubis has been taken out, so Oasis is definitely
closer.
Numbani or Oasis. I mean, I would just expect Numbani, but
yeah,
they're taking so long that I actually wonder if they're debating about Oasis, and it is Oasis. Wow. Well, look at that. So this is the first time we've seen it in this whole tournament, I think, so far. Should be exciting. It's definitely a map where you can shut out the other team. If you get a good control over the central point, it can be very hard for the other team to take over.
Okay.
We'll have to see. And I wonder... I don't know, like, I guess I'm a big fan of seeing a diversity of team comps, but we definitely have seen that the dive comp is very successful, and it's been the meta for so long. I was hoping Doomfist would shake things up, and it did look like he was initially, but none of these teams seem to be as comfortable on Doomfist and his meta as they are on the dive comp, so they seem to be sticking to it, but maybe they'll be bringing out some unusual heroes. I think from ENCE, I just kind of want to see what they were doing in the first series against KGSCL, just obviously cleaning a bit better, not making so many mistakes and finishing out those games. From Vivis, I just want to see that aggression that we saw in the group stages. I want them to be in the other team's face. I want them to be murdering everything. I want them to stop the other team from even getting out of their spawn. That's what we saw them doing in group stages. That's what I think their strength is. And so far we haven't seen it, so I hope that they'll be able to get back to that form.
Yeah, just get the aggression going. Just don't allow the enemies to really do as they please. Callie comes back into the lobby, and I'm thinking that we'll be starting off with this Oasis quickly enough. And I would love to see a Doomfist right here, I have to say. I think that there are quite some good points where you could actually throw it down with a Doomfist. Definitely thinking about the gardens.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe something long-ranged out there, but
there's a lot of opportunities, and the thing is, I think this map could suit him quite well, especially with like I definitely see Zarya working on this map. So that's just a very nice kind of dirty combo, but we'll have to just see what ends up happening. What is happening? But the chat, it seems like they're completely on the side of Vivi's adventure. No one has bet on ENCE so far.
Okay.
Which is crazy. Trickwide coming in and saying, I'd bet for network issues again.
Okay. So let's see how it's going to go right here. I really am looking forward to this Oasis. And as I mentioned, I can't think of some opportunities right here, but my experience this far on Oasis just limits to me playing myself, really, because I've never seen it played competitively, and luckily enough.
Yeah.
So let's just go. Let's just throw it down.
Yeah, I know. There's not very much. I think I'm a bit surprised as well. But we'll have to see.
And we've got Ripper maybe messing around a little bit on that McCree, but I wouldn't be surprised if he actually goes in for it. Also, the Doomfist shouldn't be so impossible. Both these teams look realistic enough to me, and I think that Anna is also a really good asset to have on your side here on Oasis, especially on this point.
Yep.
So I'm favoring FCZ on this Anna of his.
So that's a great team comp on the side of Vivi's adventure. So as I explained in group stages, and I don't know if everyone's aware of it, but Doomfist combos really well with the long range heals of Anna and the shield that Zarya can give him. Fortunately, he's taken out by RCK, Trickwide, and Biter, so it doesn't really matter. But I do like the team comp, and I hope they stick with it. But ENCE off to a really good start with 4 kills, I think, and no deaths on their side. And they're sticking to a more, I guess, traditional comp. You have Callie, though, taking out the Zarya himself, and LH Cloudy bringing out the Reinhardt.
Yeah, the Reinhardt definitely like, and both the teams are sporting it, so that's something that we'll be holding on to. Also, from time to time, a Fire and Mercy would work out, especially on University right here, so maybe somebody would decide to go for it, but it's already too late to see that. Nana Boost comes out towards the Reinhardt. Lossage is trying to just wreak havoc as much as possible. He's being limited by a Graviton Surge, by a Triceptus in his face right there, and what a wipe from ENCE. A great triple kill with RCK and Trickwide combining each other's powers, and that's going to lead to at least 50% in the favor of the Swedish team. Or Finnish, excuse me.
That's yeah, very like a lot of ultimates popping out there that I didn't necessarily expect, but countered very nicely by ENCE, and they're leaping out to quite a confident start, which I wonder if the chat is starting to panic about their betties.
Well, for now, there comes a Deadeye. Mombati being able to lay down 1 kill. And also, I'm glad that Mombati is able to show us a little bit of proficiency on other heroes, really, because he's been playing mostly Tracer this far in the entire tournament. Now he's able to get a Deadeye with 1 kill, and I don't think that it's bad. Mostly definitely looking at his pulse bombs up against Singularity, really, it's already so much more effective. And they get a team wipe very easily without really losing anybody on their side, and now they will be the ones to dominate this point. So now I don't think that it's already so much decided that it's Vivi's adventure going down right here. I don't think that anybody has to be worried about the bets.
No, not at all. I'm joking around, but Henzer coming in with his ultimate, that's huge. But he isn't able to get them with a great Transcendence, so even though they managed to get a great Graviton Surge, and Henzu landed on them.
Don't lose anybody.
Any kills, yeah. Great reactions on the other side, ENCE.
Well, also still pushing through, nano boost and then a sound barrier. That's a lot of survivability on just this Reinhardt alone. And what I mentioned right there, I mean, it's actually Vivis Adventure not losing anybody. Even though that combo actually slightly failed, they killed only a single person with it.
Yeah.
But them still surviving with all 6 people and still being able to close the enemies out in the respawn was a big achievement out there. That earned them a lot of percentage. But for now, it is ENCE once again taking over. As soon as they break through towards that middle of the map, they're able to get a team kill themselves.
Yeah, no, very nice reaction coming out of ENCE there, and they've now got the point. We're looking at 80%, so it's getting close to that time where if Vivis don't get a quick, whoa, that's a huge catch there, and that's a team wipe. Wow.
Okay, and that will be it.
Quadra kill for RCK, and that will be, yeah, that will be the first match of the series going over to ENCE.
Okay, so let's see which point's gonna show up next, and then also the city center. I'm thinking that maybe there's a possibility to go for something completely long range, like a Widow or a Hanzo. If somebody wants to. And for now, we're gonna go over to the gardens, though.
I'll have to see what happens. I wonder. They've dropped the Doomfist, it seems. But there is a Mercy on the side of ENCE, so I wonder if they'll be. Yep, their Baito swaps over to the Pharah, and we saw ENCE use this combo in their first games of the day today.
Yeah, and Baito definitely a good Pharah, I have to tell you that, but unfortunately when he's disconnecting it's not going to work out well. But for now his internet has been quite stable over the first round. That's something I like to see. They're already getting some high ground for themselves, some good angles picked up, and throwing down the rockets. Hanzu losing a little bit of HP to that, but he's staying alive, and that's very important. Hanzu on the Genji. Hopefully he gets going if Vivis Adventure are to be looking for some victory.
Definitely. So we're having a bit of skirmishing right now in the middle of the point, but this is where this is the type of map that I can definitely see 100-0 going to either of the teams if they're able to capture that point and get a good setup. I would be very worried if I was the other team. But RCK doing a lot of damage. Baito up in the air doing some good shots, and Vivis Adventure losing a couple of members. So we'll have to see if they're able to turn this around. Elivote around the back though, running away, not so low, but it looks like, nope, he's taken down, and that's 4 people down on the side of Vivis Adventure.
Yeah, that's quite good. And RCK, first of all, I think it was him who was playing the Doomfist, if I'm not mistaken, doing quite fine. And switching over to Tracer, once again, doing a pretty good job. Nobody really going for the McCree anymore in here. And just reverting a little bit to more standard lineups. Nobody also on a Reinhardt, just Winston's all over the place. But once again, I might switch a little bit around on City Center. But for now, it's still 50% and going in the favor of ENCE. Vivis Adventure slightly helpless, and now it's starting to really get scary for some people out there. I can already see Vivis, please, in the chat.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's this is quite disappointing, and I remember back in the day I used to watch Halo a lot when MLG, and there was a team that was always underestimated, and it was because they were consistent. And one of the pros explained that it was one of the most annoying things to match up against them because they knew that they never had an off day. And I'm now wondering whether the Vivis Adventure we saw in the group stages was the exception, or whether it's their normal situation. But huge revive coming out of Reaper, 3 revives, but massive kills from Vivis Adventure. But are they going to be able to turn this around? Because Reaper might have the play of the game if they're able to stop Vivis Adventure from actually capping this point. But it looks like no, they are still getting the kills. Henzu coming up big with a triple kill despite the revive, and they've captured the point, stopping ENCE at 97%.
That's some amazing rares out there from Ripper, as you mentioned, but then still they got completely overpowered by Vivis Adventure. But it's also happened on University. They were able to dominate for just a little moment, but then it's not consistent. So I don't seem too convinced by that just yet. Baito and Reaper once again. Oh, actually, right in your face. And Hensu's going to be able to take down that Pharah, and Mercy instantly follows after. Elevo with some good soldier performance, mostly sitting on a different hero throughout the entire tournament out there, though.
Yeah, absolutely. So Hensu is just controlling the point and making sure to hunt anyone down around the sides there. Mumbati is sitting on the side, but ENCE is kind of regrouping and looking for a frontal assault, it seems, but no, they're actually moving around underneath, and Baito around the back trying to attack the support. So this is going to come up. They still only have 50, just gone over 50% on Vivis Adventure. Big rocket barrage coming down, but doesn't catch anyone, crucially. Hensu manages to get rid of Trickwide. RCK does manage to turn around and take out Soldier 76, but Vivi's Adventure definitely seems to be getting the advantage here, which is good to see, and they're holding on to the point.
Yep, and Ripper still doesn't have the raise out there, which is crucial for this team fight, so they had to suicide, they had to fall back a little bit. And it's all probably going to go down to the very last one, it seems. I don't know, Hensu's not going to have the Dragonblight, but this far he's done a very good job at trying to counter the Pharah most of the time. And Elevo, really, he's going to have the tactical visor soon. It was actually Hensu who was playing on Watchpoint Gibraltar with a soldier. Elevo's rarely switching over from that Diva, but it seems like it sometimes is a good idea, actually. Will he launch the visor right now, or will he just wait for the Riz to come out first? Actually, Ripper is around the corner, has still the Discord Orb on him, and he goes down to the visor indeed. So Elevo with a very crucial kill, but can they take out the rest of the enemy team? That would be what would give them the first point right here on Oasis. But still, Kali survives, and he's still got another mecha out there, and there's nobody really to clean the mess up, and it's going to be this time actually ENCE to dominate for a little while.
Yeah, that's really good turnaround and reactions there. I liked what Vivi's Adventure was doing though, but it just didn't work out. Little revive coming out of Reaper there. It could be worth it actually. Reaper's gonna take him out by Mumbati, but Baito is just trying to hold Vivi's Adventure outside the point. They're on 99%. 3 down on the side of ENCE though, so this is huge for Vivi's Adventure. Hensu getting 3 kills, pushing down onto the point now. There are 4 down, 5 people down on ENCE. Only Reaper arrived. Baito's trying to get there, but not able to in time, so Vivi's Adventure takes the point.
It's actually kind of surprising because it's so anticlimactic. When 97% was on ENCE, they took the point over, but it seemed like this team fight wasn't still over yet. It seemed like there was still Elevo to do a little bit out there, some other DPS, and yet they just completely ran away and they didn't really contest it at all. It was risky, and I thought that Vivi would lose it just because of that, but they still got their hands back on the point, and they got the first one right here, and a lot goes down right here at the city center. I'm really wondering what the choices are going to be, because as I said, maybe some long-range heroes might be an option right here. I would prefer actually to see some. But for now, they're sticking with the standard comps, just like in the previous round. It's still going to be the Far Mercy on ENCE.
Yeah, I think it worked out fairly well, but we're tied 1-1 right now. The control point is down, but ready. They shoot up ahead, and they're putting some really good shots coming out of Baito onto Vivi's Adventure, doing quite a lot of damage. He's got a great angle, and no one is pressuring him for now. But the point's unlocking in 5 seconds, and I wonder, at the moment, ENCE is absolutely controlling this point.
So let's open it up for now. A little bit of the cap goes over to the blue team, but it's not going to stay. The team fight didn't even open up yet. Ripper, he's got to be careful because it's so easy for Elevo apparently to just pick him off. Voltage close to death, but somehow that, not too long though, but that would stayed alive. Luckily enough out there. Baito finding another kill for himself, and overall a lot of mayhem going on, but it's going to be actually for now ENCE taking the point over. But there's Lucio right in the middle of it, and you can just spin around in that chamber on Lucio on the walls very easily, so you've got to be careful when you have a good Lucio that knows how to move around. Can be just cancerous on this point.
Yeah, and Baito is just doing really great with this Pharah. He's doing so much damage. No one has really even gone close to taking him down. RCK now on the side there trying to take out Henzu. Needs to be careful because they have Mumbati's trying to get behind him, but no one actually is focusing on him. Mumbati now at 83 health and has to fall back a little bit. He was right in there, but good reaction. Henzu's taken out. Baito's still flying up in the air, just getting kills, and I wonder if anyone is going to kill him.
Yeah,
I don't think he's actually died this whole game.
Yeah, this far on City Center for sure, but they do have a res up there, so Baito will be safe even if he dies, actually. RCK! Oh, Henzu, some nice airborne action out there, and luckily it was just his corpse, not he himself. Now, a big performance from Lolsish out there trying to kill off a main healer on the enemy team, and he manages to do that. Ripper now will be focused down by the Winston, but it's a little bit late already. The res was thrown out, although not so successful, actually. Didn't really save the day on the team fight. They're still really getting broken apart, and it's exactly like on Garden. The 3-man res out there was still not enough to really overpower Vivis' adventure, and in here, once again, the res wasn't so crucial to the team fight.
No, and now I want to see how is Vivis' adventure going to set up to control this point. They're just taking it over, 75% on the side of ENCE, so there's not too much pressure, but they are starting to move forward. They are sticking to the Pharah Mercy, which I think agree with, because Baitu was doing so much damage with that Pharah, so if they're not able to shut it down, he could just be such a thorn in the side of Vivis' adventure. Couple of ultimates on either side of the teams. I wouldn't say that they have a major advantage, but Elivo taken out by Baitu right there. Kali taking getting 2 kills, which is crucial. Baito in the air, no one is shooting him. Someone trying to jump on it. Henzu jumping out, but he's taken down by Baitu, and this is the point. No one is focusing this Pharah. No one's able to take it out. It's monstrous.
And the rocket barrage.
It's another. I'm pretty sure he got about 4 or 5 kills there. And they will be taking the point.
Yep, that's a grand performance, and that should allow them to get the 2-1 advantage over Vivis' adventure right now on Oasis. Although I still think that when we go back to University and Gardens, Vivis' adventure will get a good shot at actually turning it all around and getting a 3-2. So it's not yet over for sure. I don't think that ENCE can feel too comfortable yet. Kali having some good positioning out there, some rockets being thrown down to break the barrier in there, but a big battle for the point right in the middle of it. Lolsish surrounded completely, and he'll be taken out by Beto. Once again the res, but only comes out on a single hero, but then the Cloudy is, after that res, able to get 2 kills for himself, so this turns out a little bit crucial this time around, and should be it. They just need to find out the last living members of Vivis' adventure, and they will have it saved.
It really looks like Henzu is the only one who's trying to focus on Baitu, but isn't able to, because the second he jumps on him, Baitu shoots him, and RCK is right there behind him and takes him down. So I think Vivis' adventure need to really work on their target prioritization. But look at this, overtime nearly goes out, but they get someone back on the point, and they are contesting this. ENCE is trying to hunt them down, but I wonder if Vivis' adventure, nope, they're not. It was just a final jump in, but it actually isn't for anything, so it goes 2-1 to ENCE.
Oh, it's getting real tough. It's getting real close for Vivis' adventure, and I'm glad that we do get to see this Oasis actually, because it's something fresh, still something unexpected can actually happen. You can see how sometimes they're struggling because they have some good approaches, they even have some advantage, but they don't necessarily know maybe how to work it around the map. And that's the thing, we don't have a lot of info on how it works in these esport matches, and it's pretty much the same, I believe, for Vivis' adventure. They don't know too well, they've not had many official games on this map either. No,
it's definitely the teams are having, I think, to play a bit on the fly rather than preset strategies. I was hoping Elivote would stick with the Reaper, because I think it's very strong at cracking defenses, but he goes back to the Soldier 76. So, I mean, it's been very successful. He's been good at it, but I don't think they've necessarily dominated ENCE with this team comp, so I wouldn't mind seeing them trying to switch it up, at least for a little bit, just to see if it works out. But right now we're just seeing a lot of skirmishing over the control point. Vivis Adventure trying to capture it, nearly getting 3/4 of the way through, but ENCE stepping in, and it looks like they are going to try and cap it. I wonder if Vivis will be able to challenge it. Henzu doing some damage, trying to poke, being annoying, but not able to get very much.
Well, this time it lasted a little bit longer, but once again opens up with the kills in the favor of ENCE, and these guys will take the point for themselves. They will be building it up a little bit. Maybe this time, yes, they do have a little bit more confidence compared to last time, because when they got thrown over by Vivis Adventure, they got just closed off in the respawn. Now they also try to make the enemies taste their own medicine a little bit. RCK getting some good positioning on the flank out there as the tracer of his, and he's trying to get some pulse bombs stuck towards priority targets, and he's got Z-Core up close, but actually the enemies are running away from him right now.
We've seen some really good team play out of ENCE. Whilst, you know, definitely Baitu was a key reason why they won the last map, I think the whole team is just playing really well. Trickwide, Reaper, we see Reaper getting kills, we saw Kali getting kills. The reactions out of RCK when Baitu was threatened last game, so it's really nice to see them coordinate and kind of react to the dangers and the threats that are getting thrown up. It's very clean. It's a very nice play that so far I feel like we've only really seen out of Singularity, but nearly 60%, and Vivis Adventure still are not on the board, which is a bit concerning that we're not seeing the same aggression now. They're trying to jump in, but I wonder if this is a bit of a desperation play, because he wastes his ultimate and gets nothing.
Lances, shallow boats, and finally some kills are going there in favor of Vivis Adventure, but there wasn't even a single good take where there was a hint of a possibility of them taking this point back, actually. Naito, Kali, Ripper, they can easily still take care of this point. Kali, though, actually completely surrounded by the enemies. It's going to be cut down finally. Elebo doing the greatest job in here. I think he combined got 5 kills throughout this fight.
Yeah, Eniva was really big there. He just really good positioning, saw the opportunity, popped the visor, and did it. Mumbati now sitting on the side, trying to do the tag, hoping he'll get the play of the game, but I'm not entirely sure he will. But hopefully he's going to get a good flank. We're looking at Kali. He has a Graviton Surge up, so the potential for a huge ultimate. So far, nothing big. We're just seeing a bit of skirmishing. No one is going down. They've flanked around, and are they just going to take this point uncontested? Where is the rest of Vivis Adventure? They're just standing. Graviton Surge gets chucked out, but it doesn't seem to hit very many people. Alish Kali gets 1 kill. Kills on either side, just 2 down. No one is really dominating. They're contesting the point, but Vivis Adventure is getting the point, and ENCE isn't able to capture it. We're watching Kali do some damage. Transcendence pops out. Henzu trying to rush back in to do a bit more damage. RCK popping off. Mumbati coming up big, getting 2 crucial kills on Kali and Baito, which I think is going to keep the control point up for Vivis Adventure.
Okay, so there is, let's see, Cloudy with the Shatter, pretty much 5 ults available, or everything except the Self-Destruct on the attacking team right now. It's getting close in terms of the percentage, but I think that the chances for Vivis Adventure to win this fight are quite limited. The Pulse Bomb ticks off FZZ right off the bat, and then there's Transcendence from the other side, and they know, they already regret that they don't have one on their own side. Mumbati getting hit with a strike from Reinhardt out there too, so you're not going to survive for way too long like this on the Tracer, and they're still trying to battle it out for it, but I feel like this point already belongs to ENCE. It's just a matter of a couple of moments, just a couple more swings with the Rocket Hammer in there, as Cloudy's doing an amazing job on this Reinhardt of his. FZZ also completely obliterated by RCK, and then he tries to kick him, but RCK already blinking away, so that's going to be the first map actually in the favor of ENCE. Well done, the Finnish team's definitely stepping it up, but now it goes down to the question whether they're doing this only because it is Oasis, only because it is a map that's uncomfortable for Vivis Adventure, or was it Vivis Adventure idea actually that failed miserably at it?
Look at Cali coming up big there, really, with a great Graviton Surge which the team's able to jump in. It's definitely, I don't know, we'll have to see. We're going to see more traditional map on the next two. I wouldn't be surprised if they swap over to something like Numbami. But RCK, there was, you know, I really want, as I was saying, that the whole team of ENCE was playing really well. But RCK was definitely someone with Baitu that was standing out for me. Baitu was obviously just doing a lot of damage and able to control the zones and areas using his Pharah, but RCK was actually positioning himself perfectly to be able to flank around the teams and seeing little gaps and opportunities where he's able to either clean people up or push people off of Baitu, enabling him to control that sky. So now we're just waiting to see what will Vivis pick. Oh, well, they picked Nepal. There we go, and we're entering the game. No hesitation.
Yeah, it's Nepal and then Numbani next up if they manage to even reach it. But just take a look at that. Right now, we are facing the danger of Vivis Adventure being knocked out as the last team right here in the playoffs. Yeah. And it's just crazy. It's unthinkable when we saw who will match up against who, when we saw the lineup for the players right here. Nobody would have said that it would be Vivis Adventure to just be the last one right here. And maybe it is a little bit early to say, but just look at that. They have to win 2 maps in a row. And normally, I would say that for Vivis Adventure, it's not going to be a problem. But after seeing what happened on Oasis, it's a little bit tricky. But now we're going back to Nepal. It's more standard of a control map. We're not going to see any Zaryas anymore right here. No Reinhardts most likely, though Cloudy still holds on to it for a moment. Oh, wow, do ENCE actually want to go for an old school lineup right here?
Yeah, that'd be really exciting to see. We'll just have to, I don't know, are they actually going to stick with it or not?
And then, okay, they don't have an Ana, but they're not running a Tracer Genji, but still, it looks kind of old school, I'd say. Cali is trying to rocket jump a little bit closer towards the point out there, and they're going to all go in through the stairs, through the flank, and they're already throwing it down. Let's see, this first team fight might decide a lot. If ENCE catch the enemies off guard, then the Vivis Adventure will struggle a lot on the initial point of the Nepal.
Yeah, they definitely will. I'm a bit, like you were saying, you know, I'm surprised at the kind of performance that we're seeing out of Vivis Adventure, but I want to highlight the performance that were, you know, out of the other teams. Like, at the end of the day, whilst it's a shame that Vivis isn't performing very well, it just means that the other teams are really stepping up and performing above what we expected. So that's really great to see. And we'll have to, I wonder if are they going to capture this first point though? Because Vivis are being very aggressive. They look like they're trying to control and dominate the point initially, but I don't think ENCE is allowing them to do it, and now they're the ones that are actually on it and capture it.
Oh well, there we go. Cali getting a little bit going for himself out there, and it's going to be important to land the Graviton Surge, but then I'm wondering who's gonna just obliterate everybody inside of it. It's gonna be just a Reinhardt without the Ana. It might be a little bit too hard for him to survive. Right now they're being chased away from the point even. Cloudy only getting a single kill. LFO once again launching it with a tactical visor. Once again, as I mentioned, maybe that is the way. Maybe LFO should not be the off tank. Maybe he should be playing the DPS soldier mainly, because that seems to be working perfectly fine for them.
He has been playing it really well, actually, so I've been very impressed by the way that he's been bringing it out in his performance. But it does make you question, well, why is it not working? But they've got the point at the moment, and I wonder if they'll be able to hold on to it, because the problem is that as much as we've seen Vivis Adventure do well, we haven't seen the aggression that we saw them do initially in the group stages where they were on the other side of the map. But like, there we go, as I say that, 4 down on the side of ENCE, and they are holding the point, so if this works it will be really exciting.
Okay, so we're charging it up once again in favor of Vivis Adventure. Actually, for once, I would like to say, but then I don't know, Cali just switching it over to the D.Va, not having charged up the Graviton Surge. It's a little bit of a waste. Maybe they overestimated their possibilities on this old lineup of swords. But then they still are sticking with the Reinhardt just because they are so close to having the Earth Shatter. But will he be even able to throw it down? They had the Transcendence, but it's already over, and he doesn't really get to see a lot of targets out there. He's sitting on top of the point, but already his team is getting eliminated, and it's only Cloudy left alive out there. This is over. What a Dragon Blade from Henzu too.
5 kills for Henzu with that Dragon Blade. He just saw the opportunity, popped it, and just took the whole team basically out single-handedly. The whole team of Vivis Adventure is on fire, and it looks like they are going to take this first point if they keep it up.
Oh wow, this
FZZ is on the point, putting out a lot of damage. We're looking at it's getting down to 97%, 98%. The Ripper's taken out by Henzu. He's trying to do damage to Cloudy. Baito isn't paying attention and takes a lot of damage from Henzu, but they are on the point, and somehow ENCE is able to take it over with no one dead on the side of, and that's it. 3 down, 4 down on the side of Vivis Adventure, 5 down now. Only Mombati alive. FZZ I think has just respawned, but I'm not entirely sure what happened there. It looked like Vivis had the control of the map, but then suddenly none of them were on the point, and ENCE just kind of walked up and took over.
Oh man, so we're charged up to 99%, and I get that KGSCL syndrome right now, that they might have gotten 99, but they're not going to be able to take it over completely, but then it's a little bit too early to call it out. But luckily enough, in that previous team fight, there was a sound barrier actually ticking, because there was an amazing 2 people pulse bomb that should have taken out 2 kills, but somehow it didn't, and somehow indeed, as you mentioned, it was possible for ENCE to take it over later on. RCK now chasing down Elevote and Mombati, getting kills on the DPS, definitely very important now. They're charging up his ultimate once again. He's got the pulse bomb ready. They have a self-destruct, and that's going to be crucial if it goes down to 99%, because it might keep the enemies away for enough time to just let the overtime tick away.
The danger is though, like, they are getting very close to it, and the ultimates aren't really there on the side of Vivis Adventure, so they're pushing in. Henzu is around the back, but he gets taken out really quickly. RCK gets Elevote, so those are 2 crucial people on the side of Vivis Adventure that they need to take that point, and if they aren't able, FZZ now taken out. They've lost Ripper for ENCE, but he isn't as important. Baito and RCK still doing so much damage. Trickwide with a huge ultimate. Cloudy finally goes down, but it looks like ENCE is definitely controlling the point. They're 4 down on the side of Vivis Adventure, and it looks like they're going to take it. Yep, they do.
Yep. So, what a comeback! I mean, what are we supposed to say right now? There was a completely weird team fight where they took the point back, and then they were able to dominate until the very end. Yeah, seems almost legitimate.
It's a little bit like Vivis Adventure is just slightly off. They're not playing on the same page, so you know that's the second time we've kind of see them gift the points to the other team. And I wonder if it's having some shot calling issues, or are they trying to plan something and it's not, you know, they're not able to pull it off. I'm not really sure, but it's very odd. Because we're seeing these flashes of brilliance out of them. You know, Henzu pulls off this huge play. Mombati is playing really well. FZZ getting lots of kills. Like, the team is nearly there and is playing so close to being able to kind of win the matches. But then suddenly at crucial moments where they need to coordinate, it suddenly falls apart. But now we're watching RCK, who takes out FZZ with the Doomfist, so this is exciting. Will he be able to keep it for a little bit longer? Because we haven't really seen much Doomfist the whole time. But ENCE is having the perfect team. What a dive. Takes out Elevote. Will he continue to take it out? But with...
Oh, managed to survive and gets the strike and Z-core. Now Mombati's got to be careful, because Doomfist seems to be that Tracer Annihilator. Henzu, yeah, he's gone.
So that's so on the side of ENCE, they have a really nice team set up for Doomfist to succeed, with the long range heals coming out of Anna and the shielding from Kali. You know, Cloudy can also take advantage of any knockdown. If he knocks them down, that can also combo really well with Doomfist's ultimate. So we'll have to see if they stick to it. It looks like they are. Now we're watching Elevote, who I don't think he's actually swapped off this Soldier 76. So, you know, it'd be quite easy to think that he is actually the main DPS of the team.
Well, let's see. It's still not yet over, but definitely a good beginning for Vivis Adventure. However, if we're talking about the team fights, then I feel like ENCE have done a little bit better. So once again, it's kind of that weird outcome where off a team fight that looks extremely in the favor of ENCE, it's Vivis Adventure dominating, and on the previous point it was the other way around. Right now, Elephant going ham with his tactical visor, and there's even nobody to shoot at anymore after he gets the double kill, as the enemies are a little bit too scared.
Elephant's tactical visors have really been on point so far in the past few games, and he's been creating a lot of opportunities for Vivis to take advantage of. Now they're on the point, they're over, just hit 50%, which is really good for them, so hopefully they'll be able to hold it. But ENCE is making a concerted effort to push into the point. Cloudy soaking up so much damage. Transcendence comes out, he's swinging that giant hammer. Trick White puts out his sound wave, Baitu's damaging, those ultimates come out, but the visor pops now. How much damage are they doing? 2 down on Vivis Adventure, but 3 down on ENCE. Another one goes down on Vivis. Elivote is not being focused at all. He's getting so many kills. What great positioning right there, and Vivis hold on to the point.
Yeah, and Lulsish all the time out there with the Primal Rage. Everybody was swinging in that little room out there. There were like 3 people from both the sides, and then Lulsish with the Primal Rage was doing so much. Then he jumped out, jumped in again, and he was able to lay down the large, just completely dominate the enemy team. And now ENCE, there's not much that they can do anymore. They'll have to come back and reply with a Meteor Strike 1 kill, then Rocket Punch another, and then Auto Dancing Hensu goes down. RCK then finally has to somehow suicide, and he even lets out a little smiley face out there in the chat, but luckily enough for them, it's not such a tragic thing as they managed to take over the point themselves.
No, that was a really great actual ultimate coming out of RCK, and then chaining it into another 2 kills. A shame that he ended up committing suicide, but NodGod actually has just told me that apparently Elivote has been playing almost exclusively Soldier 76 in previous tournaments, so it's possible that Vivis Adventure is trying to kind of switch up the roles initially, but that's 2 people suiciding on the side of Vivis Adventure, so that's a bit odd. And now we're having another 99% situation. Are Vivis about to give this up?
Okay, there we go. It would be a little bit surprising to see for sure, but there we go. Elevote already trying to build up a flank. Mombati coming in from behind. He's got the pulse bomb ready, and there's a Ripper. Very juicy of a target out there for him for sure, but definitely he's looking for something a little bit different. Kali in the front line goes for the defense matrix, but everybody's behind him actually. He's got to be careful. Tries to push some people out, but he's not really able to do that anyway. And Vivis Adventure are starting to maybe win a little bit out on this team fight, although it's still really close and somehow kind of not so intense as I was expected to. And Elevote, as he joins in, as Lulsish jumps in right now, and might turn around completely. LH Cloudy just running away from that monkey, and that's quite interesting because it cannot give up the point. RCK all alone. He won't really be able to hold on to it, but Ripper with the Transcendence tries to jump in and help him out, but then RCK is still not enough to save him. And wow, we've got another tactical visor and another kill from him until the moment finally Kali realizes he's going to stop him with the defense matrix, but everybody's already dead when he does do that. And OT's ticking, but it will be the red team taking over the point, and them not really having the point just yet. Baito with the Tracer, and also RCK with the Genji, but they're getting cut down one after another, and it might be over now.
Another great tactical visor coming out of Elivote, holding the point, so that was super key from them. Really nice gameplay coming out of Vivis Adventure for that win. Excited to see how they end up taking it, but that ties it all 1-1. But Elivote really stepping up and doing so well on the side of Vivis.
Well, going down to Village, and it's such an intense matchup. I definitely wasn't expecting this to be such a good one, really. And with Vivis actually going down on Oasis, losing the first points out there, I expect that maybe it will be a little bit easier for ENCE from now on, but they're still struggling. And yeah, but that also might have been the fault of them kind of experimenting in the very beginning, getting that Zarya going for 2 team fights, not even charging up an ult and switching her out. It's so important to have that ult charge in Overwatch.
I feel like things have been a little bit chaotic on the side of Vivis, so it'll be interesting to see what ends up happening. Just a quick swap back to us so you can see me scratching my nose. Thanks for that, observers.
Asking for a pause though. Wait
okay.
a second. We're asking for a pause in the game. Out there. Okay, they just continue on. I'm not sure. Nobody disconnects, and okay, now they're gonna go for it. And now apparently it's a little bit too late. They type in this little sad face and then they say that they're ready, actually.
Oh, okay. Nice meme. There we go. So it looks like ENCE is very comfortable with this farmer, you know, Pharah Mercy combo and using it really well. Now that having seen them play like that and do quite well with the Pharah, I do think that actually the match might have been much closer previously had Baito not had the DC.
It's real tough to really call it right now, but I think so. I think so, yeah.
Maybe not as easy, but Elibert on the D.Va putting a lot of damage and chasing down Cloudy and takes him out and then jumps straight on the Mercy, so doing great damage there, really showing us, like, I honestly think on the side of Vivis, he's the best performing member of the team so far today. Coming up huge. It looks like they're going to be able to cap the point. They do, so 24% for ENCE, but now it swaps over to Vivi's adventure. Henzu standing on the side, just throwing out some Shigen, and we'll see what ends up happening. Nothing too big. Baito's trying to be annoying there. He's got Mercy right next to him, but and then team's just waiting to regroup before they push in as one.
Wow. Let's go. 24-24. Cloudy and Baito are finding the kills. Oh my goodness, ENCE are starting to actually obliterate their enemies. There seems like there's no reply from Vivi's adventure at all, especially as Lancish goes down and Elibot finally sitting on the D.Va. They really need it right here on Village especially. But his soldiers just been so effective that it's a shame they have to give it up. And Elibot does manage to get one down to the self-destruct, but he died instantly as he quit the mecha himself.
Interesting rocket barrage there. I guess he really wanted to make sure that Henzu died, but not entirely sure it was worth it.
Oh well.
Have to see, but they managed to take over the point again, and they're catching up to Vivi's adventure. We'll have to see how they're doing. RCK sitting on the side. Good prediction there that they wouldn't look in. And great stick. I wonder if he doesn't get a kill, but causes a lot of damage and forces people to jump away. Tries to chase after the Winston, but isn't able to catch him. Couple of kills traded on either side of the team. Ripper coming up with a double revive. RCK taking out Henzu, which is big, but Mumbati taking out RCK as a response. We've got Baito on the side trying to put out some damage, but ultimately at the end of it, ENCE still hold on to the point and just hit 70%.
Well, 70% is going to be ticking. It's going to be 85 before once again Vivi's adventure managed to group up, and still from above Baito's just being so annoying and charging up the rocket barrage. It's going to be crucial if he manages to charge it up, if he manages to get it down in one last team fight. I feel like it could be what wins this point over for ENCE. Now we've got a Transcendence from FZZ, but people are just spreading up, so it's a little bit easier for Baito to hit his targets who are not being healed up, but the point's taken over by Vivi's adventure. There's nobody inside of it. Baito! Yeah, he's got that rocket barrage, and the self-destruct flies right into the middle of the building from Kali, and that's going to be 2-1. As I mentioned, it's going to be so crucial to have the rocket barrage. They get it, they win it.
Absolutely, that was huge coming out of him, definitely, without a doubt. Huge rocket barrage, very nicely charged up near the end. Just as Pharah pick has been very important for them, and it doesn't seem like Vivis is prepared to kind of react to it. So 2-1 to ENCE, so this could be the deciding match.
Yeah, very well could be, but let's just give them another shot right here. Vivi's adventure, after all, they can be so surprising, they can be so dominant, they can be so aggressive. It's just so hard to understand why today is such a bad day for them.
Yeah, I mean, we all have our off days, and that does happen, but I guess what I'm worried about is this is more of their norm, and that what we saw in the group stages was actually the exception. But we'll just have to wait and see, but we can see a bit of a tracer-on-tracer action right there. No one gets the advantage, however, but they're pushing in. Mumbati's standing on the point, which isn't activated yet, another couple of seconds, but both teams are building up their ultimates. No one is particularly close to it though. No kills as of yet, but the point is open and it is being contested. We're following Henzo right now, who's trying to do some damage, push the other teams out, but 2 kills now go over to ENCE. They managed to take 2 players out. Cloudy though has to pay for it. But I wonder if they've managed to buy 2, jumping over with his tracer, so he's no longer on the Pharaoh. They're trying to get rid of this annoying Lucio, but will he buy enough time for Vivis Adventure for the rest of the team to turn up and take over the point?
Oh, what a clutch stick right there! As soon as Luscious flies in, he just catches a pulse bomb and kills off Wombati the same. That was a little bit unlucky out there, but Elevote surviving the entire teamfight and getting to even back away, having nearly an entirely charged up tactical visor out there. This is surprising because he was an extremely low HP and somehow he was able to hide away and heal up, and he was not supposed to be alive at all. That's what surprised me the most. But 25% at least right here on ENCE. They're kicking it off very well in Sanctum.
Yep, they are doing well. They've managed to capture, but Vivis Adventure coming out quite strong. Mumbachi's taken low. Will he die? No, it looks like he's managed to get away. Henzu has popped the ultimate, but doesn't seem to have been able to get anyone. Mumbachi finally goes down. Zekor commits suicide.
Oh.
Doesn't he know he can wall run out of the pit?
Yeah, that's a little bit unlucky out there, but maybe because the rest of the team was already outside of the point, it wasn't worth it to just stay alive. He would just held them back, but now he's already with them, amp it up, and they're flying in. It's Cloudy, only able to knock him down. Zekor is not even going to go down out there. That's not a good Earth Shatter. Now Cloudy's going to be pinned towards a wall by 3 or more of his enemies, and Mbati also going ham on towards Kali. Well, Kali's not going to be so easy to kill off, but as soon as he dies, the point's taken over, but still 69% is just so strong of a performance from ENCE this far. They don't need much more, and they might be the ones to knock out Vivis Adventure of this tournament.
Yeah, they might be, which would be crazy to imagine that Vivis would come forth. You said it earlier, it's definitely not what we would have expected, but the performance coming out of ENCE is really inspiring. And I'd be actually really excited to see them match up against KGSCL. That seems so strong and able to kind of challenge Team Singularity somewhat, or as much as we've seen in this whole tournament. But RCK coming up big with the Dragon Blade, doing a couple of kills, standing on the point. Elevote trying to do the damage to prevent them from taking over the point. They are still holding on at 40% now. They still have quite a bit to go to catch up to ENCE, and it looks like ENCE are about to catch it. I don't know, it's very messy team fights we've been seeing so far. Lots of deaths back and forth. Kali on the side there. Hensu with the Dragon Blade. Eliva with another tactical visor doing a lot of damage. Manages to take out Baitu Kali. Trick White gets killed as well. And it looks like Vivis Adventure will be able to hold on to the point for now.
Yeah, they locked down the point for just a couple of seconds to charge up 7% more, and then it's back on the other side again. It's going to go down to some very crucial team fights right now. This time, it's all going to be about charging up their ults and using up as many on the other side as possible, and probably the next one will be the last one, I think. It might be. But 76, is it enough actually to make it one last team fight? I don't think so. But once again, they're making a good effort at trying to take it over right here. Kali, then also Cloudy and Beto's just jumping around. And it's interesting that Beto's going over to his Tracer actually. He thought it was just a trick to just hold on to the point as long as possible last time. But he decides to play a little bit more consistently, that Tracer on Sanctum.
Yeah, definitely. So 97% on Vivis Adventure, so it's a good reaction, but it looks like they're trying to push out, but I'm not sure Vivis Adventure is going to give them that opportunity. Zekor puts out the sound barrier, and is there anyone on the point? It doesn't look like it's ticking down, and it's going to tie 2-all. Vivis Adventure against ENCE. So the next map is going to be big.
Yeah. Pretty much everything goes down to this last map for ENCE, while for Vivi's Adventure, this could revive them a little bit. I mean, I should say the other way around, but I still have a feeling that that Vivi's Adventure, if they just get a little bit of an opening, if they get the wind into their sails, they will roll over ENCE, so they should close it out whenever they can. If they allow Vivi's Adventure to get another shot on the last map, Numbani, I don't know if you remember the Numbani from the group stage against Netherlands, but they managed to demolish them completely when we expected it not being possible for them to win.
I do remember,
and like, a strong asset.
Absolutely, I do remember, because Team Netherlands were a really great team, very fun to watch. It was definitely worth going back and watching if you guys want to just watch some fun, good Overwatch. But where we thought they were shut out, they suddenly turned around. So it's definitely, I mean, I'm not underestimating Vivi's Adventure. I know how good they are, and if given the opportunity, they definitely can step up. And the man on your screen right now, Elibot, is doing everything he can to keep Vivi's Adventure in this tournament, but ENCE are just not giving them that opportunity, and they are playing so well.
Very important, and on Village to kick it off with the first take out there. Not really too tough of a team fight for ENCE. It's starting off very well. Beta once again is going to be looking for some rocket damage on top of the buildings out there before the enemies get into fight. And that's always important. Initial damage. Trick Mike though is going to be taken out as the first man. They're missing the Lucio. He's very far behind in the ult charge compared to Zekor. Now he's also dead. It's going to be a tough situation. And also, not getting the res out there is a huge mistake, and it will give the advantage over to Vivi's Adventure. And I feel like it is more of a permanent one, or maybe not permanent, but one that will last longer.
Yeah, no, they're definitely, that was really good team fight coming out of them. They didn't waste a lot of ultimates on it, and if we're looking at it, Zeko and Mumbati have theirs. Henzu, Epps, and Lolsish and Elibot are all above 85%, so they'll be getting theirs very shortly. So they're actually in a great position, and hopefully they'll be able to take advantage of this and keep the point. They've now taken the lead, actually. Well, you see, ENCE pushing in. We have the rage coming out of Lolsish.
Ow.
What's gonna happen, but that gets shut down. Vita dies and Ripper gets taken out, so it looks like ENCE has been stopped at the moment. FCZ, we're watching, he had to use his Transcendence, and Henzu used his as well, but Zeko, Mombati, and Elibot are still holding on to their ultimates.
So that was quite crappy. I don't know how to really call that. Beto going for a rocket barrage right on top of the point and somehow winds up killing himself, not getting any damage done with the rocket barrage. This is devastating and also disappointing out there to see. And ENCE had a really good shot in the very beginning, and I hope that they would get back to control this point real early. But now, Vivis Adventure are getting real close to taking the ball over to home, especially with this tactical visor. They get rid of Kali, Trick White, Cloudy, but there's still the far Mercy, and that's what I'm talking about. Mercy had the res for quite a bit of time now, and a lot goes down to her, but RCK also dies right after that raid. Cloudy, the only one that's able to reply a little bit better towards Elephant, who's already used up his ultimate, so he doesn't matter so much anymore. And Beta being chased down by the enemy players. 95%. Oh, Beta just died. Is there even a possibility to trigger that overtime for long enough?
I'm not sure, but Elivot is just playing like a monster. I have to say, I keep saying it, but he's getting so many kills, and his tactical visors have been on point, which is just great to watch. And Vivi's Adventure tie it all up 1-1. So now we're going to Numbani.
And it is actually Elevote who most of the time plays Diva out there on his team. So
well, yeah, but NodGod was telling me, mentioned in chat, that apparently recently Elevote has been playing a lot of Soldier 76 in the tournament. So 64 eliminations and 55% kill participation. That's huge coming out of Elevote. Seems like he's determined to put Vivi's Adventure into his backpack and take that out to win. So there we go. Really great stuff there. So finally, we're seeing like the type of life and gameplay that we're expecting out of Vivi's Adventure. It's definitely being pushed through by Eliva, but Mumbati, Lulsish had some really good moments in that last match there, and most importantly, it looks like they're not allowing themselves mentally to be defeated. So Numbani is an assault escort map, so this is going to give us a really exciting matchup.
It's important for a team that's been so dominant online that they're getting beaten up by ENCE right here. It's very important to be mentally stable and just to push through, just to be focused on your objective. And yeah, it's interesting to see he's just consistently switching over to the soldier, and possibly it's a change for good, but maybe that's also the reason why we're seeing Vivis Adventure not being so dominant. Maybe because they're just undergoing a little bit of like structural changes in the team.
Maybe. I don't know. We'll have to just wait and see what ends up happening. Yeah, maybe it'd be interesting to find out. Maybe if they do make it through to the finals, we'll be able to interview them and find out.
Yeah, might be, for sure. And now Numbani is going to be opening up, and we were kind of already saying that no chance for Vivis Adventure on this Numbani when they were facing off against Team Netherlands. It just looked horrible for them. Now the question is, can ENCE put up as good as a performance like Netherlands out there? Because we might experience a matchup where it's not even necessary for Vivis Adventure to get serious in here.
Yeah, I don't know, it'll be really exciting, and I'm actually quite happy that finishing on this map, because I feel like it offers it's quite diverse, and there's, because you were talking about they've got to capture the payload first of all and then escort, it forces the teams to kind of adapt their strategies. It's not so direct, so we'll have to wait and see. Nothing too exciting on either side's team comps, however. And I wonder who the observer will pick to follow first of all. Is it going to be Mumbati?
Mumbati was just so important out there last time, but today I can't say that I'm really satisfied by how he's doing.
No.
Unfortunately. Mumbati actually skipped RCK completely. It seemed like RCK was there to stop him, but Mumbati doesn't care about him and outplays him completely, actually. RCK just wraps around the entire building though, and then he comes in from behind and he focuses on Zenyatta, so that's a very important target out there. But Mumbati, he was able to lay down so much more before anything really happened from RCK. So it was a 6v5 team fight practically for like 10 seconds maybe. Now the payload's being slowly but surely taken over though, and you've got to really be careful about that when your ENCE Z-Core is being chased away. RCK looking for some kills and finally getting 1 or 2 down out there. Chiming in, chipping in for some assists for himself too. And it will be finally a team wipe, but 1 tick of the points already taken over. And it's definitely not a bad first take from the attacking team. Although you have to keep in mind that it's always the best if you are able to take out 1 single team fight. If you're struggling in here, it's really tough. You already are thinning your time bank down quite a bit.
Absolutely, that's a very good point to make, and you do ideally want to just kind of team wipe the other team and just take over in one go. But I think these two teams are very closely matched up, so that's easier said than done. But we do see RCK just understanding exactly where Mumbati is about to come and predicts it 100%, jumps straight onto a point and seems to stop him. Henzu trying to make something happen, but is only able to get 1 kill before Baitu turns around and takes him out. So that's 3 down on the side of Vivis Adventure. And we did see in the group stages at one point where I think it was on Hollywood, I can't remember the teams, but they weren't even able to capture the payload at a tiebreaker. Yep. So it's a possibility that happens here. Now they still have 2 minutes, so it's still quite early to really say anything, but we just have to wait and see.
And what you mentioned, it surely happened on Hollywood already in Group D, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
but
I think
also,
so too.
I think it happened on Numbani once, but I definitely can't recall in what match was it. And now the self-destruct isn't really going to do so much. Elevote losing his mecha also goes down for a self-destruct there too, but don't think the positioning was so good actually, right at the entrance of the building where there was nobody there. Elevote though trying to turn around and find some other kills for himself, so at the end of the day sometimes he does switch back to the Deeper.
Yep.
And also is quite a good performance there. So Payload is taking over 2 team fights, is definitely satisfying, although not perfect for sure, but let's go.
I think that was a good team fight, and you know, they managed to capture the payload, which is, like you say, the important thing. Good reactions from them, and I think it was Zeko who got out a really good sound barrier, so props to him. You know, like the supports often are the unsung heroes. They're definitely doing well. Actually, on both sides of the teams, I feel like the Lucios have been crucial in certain moments. FCZ doing some damage and taking out Cloudy.
RCK though on the back of the C fight going for the kill on FTZ. Kali's gonna get rid of Lolsish. That's a very important kill on Winston out there. But Henzu, once again, you've got to take care. You've got to shot down that Genji, because if you get him rolling, he's going to be able to cut down the entirety of your team. Also the deflect right in front of Beto's face out there, so the soldier isn't going to do so much, but Beto is able to send out the Helix rockets that get rid of a mecha out there on the other side, but it doesn't really make a big deal. And I was wondering where they're going to pick up the team fight, but this team fight didn't even stop the payload for too long, so it's not like it mattered too much. And the second point might very easily be taken, but Cloudy was just waiting around the corner, and he's going to be trying to extend it as long as possible. Self-destruct though, a little bit unlucky, lands between 2 cars, so it's not going to deliver so much damage as it could. But Cloudy's getting some kills out there, and they do have quite a couple of ultimates of their own still to back themselves up, and Beto's real close to having the tactical visor. If they get to send us into this team fight too, this might be crucial. 2 minutes left in the time bank, the enemies are pushed back until another team fight comes.
Some really good gameplay coming out of Baito, and Cloudy jumping in and contesting the payload before the second checkpoint, and it's working out really well for them. Henzu popping his ultimate, manages to take out Ripper, but is killed by Cloudy, and after props to Cloudy, he's stepping up a lot this game and being a real thorn in Vivis Adventure's side, and look at that, preventing them from taking the checkpoint, and he's eaten up at least 30 or 40 seconds that I've seen so far of their time bank. So even if they get this, Cloudy's decision to dive in there was huge and enabled, you know, has made it that much harder for Vivi's Adventure. They get the second checkpoint now and they're pushing forward, but really good play from ENCE.
Yep, let's go. Payload being pushed further and further now. This is the last point, and I won't really be disappointed if they don't get it, but they really have to get as far as possible right now. A good kill on towards Cloudy. He picks up the Reinhardt and instantly gets shot down by a pulse bomb, so he's got to be really pissed off of what's happening around here. And say now they are starting to feel the pain, starting to feel the pressure, as indeed Vivi's Adventure attack right here on Numbani is definitely not a bad thing.
Absolutely, so they're pushing forward, they're getting pretty close to it. It seems like this is going to be the final fight. Ultimate Hendu again, so close to his ultimate, popping it straight away, takes out Trick White, which is big. Jumps straight onto RCK, takes out Ripper as well, and Baitu. Huge play coming out of Hendu, who hasn't been as dominant as I expected, or he was with Mbati, but they do manage to get the final point fairly easily. 1:43 left on the clock. So a very respectable finish for Vivi's Adventure there. But, you know, have to again point out that without Cloudy jumping in and contesting that second checkpoint, they would have had an extra 30 or 40 seconds on the clock there. So definitely doable for ENCE to match up and beat this. Just have to see how, I wonder how easy it will be for them to take that first, to capture the payload.
Yeah, that's true. And compared to the group stage performance, it was like 3 minutes for Netherlands, nearly 4 minutes for Vivi's Adventure back there. So as you say, they could have just squeezed in like 30 more seconds into the time bank right here. But a lot goes down to the defense. I don't think that they should focus on the time bank that they have in the second rounds. They should just simply end and say here and now if they really want to go further into the losers brackets finals with a convincing performance, right? Because they still have to beat down KGSDL. It's not going to be an easy task at all. On the pile, KGSDL's almost taken down Singularity, so that tells me that it should pretty much be possible for them to win against Vivi's Adventure, which was not possible for ENCE, and with that Nepal, I remind you, it would have been a 2-0 in the match overall, really.
Yep. Absolutely, this has been really close. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. The thing is that I still kind of maintain that if Vivis is playing at their very best, they are likely to be the second best in this group. But what I was saying earlier is that consistency matters a lot more than teams and players that are sometimes great and sometimes mediocre. The better team is the one that can consistently show up and play the best. But here we have it. ENCE definitely picking a buy-2 back on his Pharaoh, which I agree with. I think it's a good pick. Early vote on the Diva.
Okay, so here we are. RCK, this time not playing the Tracer, this time not being tricked around by the enemy Tracer. Mombati not getting any easy chime-ins right off the bat. Actually him sitting on the soldier this time around, falling back instantly, trying to get as much of a field of view for himself as possible. Get some good targets down. Henzu with the kill on Ripper. Important kill. Whenever a Mercy goes down first, you know it's a good beginning of a team fight for you. She's not going to have that res stacked up no matter what happens after. You can only be happy with yourself, and well, they're breaking down the push fairly easily, just as they finished off the 3rd point last time.
Yeah, no, really good reactions there, and good team fight. I mean, Baito's got 50... Oh, wow! Baito swaps off of the Pharaoh. He was at 50% ultimate charge, but because they took out Ripper, they knew that they just didn't want to push that anymore, so they swapped straight to Soldier 76. Interesting. I would have thought they would have stuck with it and pushed a little bit more. But RCK here on the top, no one's really focusing him, but he's not doing too much. They still haven't managed to even get one tick of the point, but now they're on it. Looks like they'll be able to get... Yep, they captured that first tick. Is Mombati going to be able to... He's nearly got Advisor, which would be so important.
But Transcendence there, and okay, aggressively once again going in, but the Sound Barrier actually saves the day a tiny bit for ENCE, but this still isn't looking any kind of positive for them, if I were to say. Cloudy getting deep in, but he's actually still alive. Oh, not long enough as he flies off the map with his body being completely dead. The tactical visor obliterates them. A good performance from Mombati. Very well done.
Yeah, really well done. Held on to the tactical visor crucially until the key moment to kind of clean up those final 2 people. So that's just as bad as popping it too early and wasting it. So it's good to see that. It definitely looks like Vivis are starting to play better and better, I feel. So they're warming up and we'll see what they're doing, but 1 tick so far for ENCE, and 1 minute 30 left on the clock. So now they have 3. Baito popping his visor, looking to do some damage, but not getting anyone yet. Elivo's so nearly dead, but manages to survive somehow. FZZ though taken out. Elivo again extremely low, but they managed to turn it around. Zeko getting 2 kills on RCK and Cali, but this messy fight is continuing on, it looks like, and they are on the point. They finally get that 2nd tick, and I wonder if Vivis will be able to contest. Yeah, Henzu jumping in, getting 2 kills, 3 kills. Yep. It looks like coming up huge, and 4 people down on ENCE, so that's a big... Oh wow, and they didn't actually get the 2nd tick.
This is surprising, because I think that they did out there. Well, whatever.
But clearly not, because it went back down.
Yeah, they were definitely extremely close, going down to just 1 pixel probably, but also something that I have to mention, I'm glad that you mentioned that it was a messy team fight, because it surely was. Elevote right there going for a pretty failed ultimate behind the payload with nobody being on that side, but then Henzu being able to clean up that mess was some good stuff. But then RCK, yep.
Yeah, we're both watching and both being impressed, but channeling his inner Leaf to take out 3 people and allows ENCE to capture the payload.
And they do capture the payload, but they do it very late, and with 2.5 minutes right here, just 2 successful team fights from the red team already is going to be enough to pretty much exhaust the entire time bank that ENCE have right here. And even if somehow they get the 3rd point, it's going to be a horrible situation for them. But let's see. Vivis Adventure were able to turn it around so well against Team Netherlands being in a horrible position. There is a big possibility that maybe ENCE will do the same. Kali though, getting a huge flank, but then getting eliminated by FCZ so easily. That's A little bit unlucky from him, and yeah, as you say, they get cleaned up real fast.
Yeah, well, I didn't expect that. Just suddenly, I thought RCK had a really nice flank there, but boom, all dead. Lost is not paying attention and getting a fist to the face.
Okay, so
RCK not a fan of Harambe.
Luckily enough, well, RCK is going to be gone himself. He's got the Meteor Strike ready, but once again he's just going to join in his team. Lolfish managing to get back to safety. Storm full HP, has the Primal Rage. Everybody has an ult right now on the red team. He's got to be careful of that. Vivis Adventure might very easily be looking for another team wipe on the enemy team. Where's the Meteor Strike hitting? I still can't see it. It goes down in the middle, really. Hence,
doesn't get anyone
with it, I think. Yeah, it wasn't necessarily the best placement out there, and they once again just closed the enemies out in the respawn. So yeah, 1 minute. I was talking about 2 team fights to exhaust the entire time bank, and that's exactly pretty much the amount of time it would take to roll it over to the second point. And first of all, you have to get rid of Vivis Adventure with 4 ultimates ready.
Yeah, they didn't actually expend any ultimates there, which is really good for them. Mbati coming up in, she has a tactical visor, he's putting down the tag and ready to pop it. Henzu around the side. Nothing too much happening now. Baitu gets a kill on Mbati, which is crucial, so that means that the Soldier 76 has been taken out.
Yep. Baitu, is he going to be able to survive much longer? Actually, Defense Matrix from Kali is saving his life for a long time out there. And Mbati, he's still got the tactical visor, so yes, he did get killed as one of the first people out there, but now when he joins back in, it might be crucial to just stop the payload once again. But indeed, yeah, we're going down to the overtime already, and we're going to have another team fight, I believe, unless they just decide not to.
Well, we've seen Vivis give up points before, but that would be really surprising. I don't see what's to gain from it. They have a huge here. I'm expecting Tactical Visor to pop out pretty soon. Yep, there we go. Is he going to be able to 2 kills down already? Kali coming up big though, managing to get 2 kills of it himself. On his side, now we're having a bit of a messy fight. RCK trying to finish off some of those kills, but so far not able to. Henzu taking out RCK. Lolfish getting Kali, and there we go, that's the game.
Cloudy jumping up with the Winston, and before he lands, the overtime runs out. So unlucky right there. Also, extremely lucky on the other hand by Kali, as he tossed out the self-destruct straight into a enemy Winston's barrier, but it disappeared a split second before it's gone off. So that was amazing, but at the end of the day, it's gonna be still Vivis Adventure.
I feel like that's the second time we've seen a Winston jump out of the overtime and gifted over to the other team, because they failed to kind of recognize that. But look at this, 4 kills, 3 kills, and Zeko taking the 4th. Really great play out at the end of them. So that's, you know, Vivis Adventure definitely warming up. Surprising, I did expect ENCE to win it as they were playing, but Vivis slowly kind of clawed their way back into the game. Henzu were doing really good. Zeko seemed to be a bit of a fragging monster throughout that game. So I'm excited. I wonder if Vivis is going to be able to carry this over against KGSCL.
Hopefully, if they kick off like this, like the performance that they had on Numbani, it's going to be easy for them. But if they once again are kind of this undecided team, I don't really know what they looked like in the first map against ENCE right there. It seemed kind of like they were lost. But yes, maybe we could blame the map. Maybe it was Oasis. So yes, I can agree to that. But
I don't know. They've been messy this whole today, all day. They've been messy. They haven't been as coordinated, and that was something that I really enjoyed watching them in the group stages. Was how, like we've said, aggressive and coordinated they were. They were just pushing like a never-ending force. But in this one, it seems like a lot of solo queue players, to be quite honest. But hopefully, I don't know. They're improving. That's the thing. And so far, they've been improving. And whereas at the start, it definitely looked like ENCE were about to steamroll them, they managed to survive, get that final map, tie it up, and now they won it. And, you know, they won by quite a bit. So, well, I think we're going to have quite an exciting matchup now.
Yeah, all right. So, now before this last matchup kicks off, KGSCL versus Vivis Adventure for the last spot in the LAN finals, we're going to take a 5 minutes break and see you right there.